Hi.
Marhaban.
Hello. And welcome to the Global Creators Podcast with your hosts Nessa, Mirette, and me, Holly. This is the podcast where all talents meet to discuss the highs and lows of being a creator.
I can't believe it has literally taken 3 hours to start filming this.
But we're so excited to be here.
So it's probably best to start with a brief introduction. So I'm Nessa, 26. I'm German and half Nicaraguan. I live in the UK, but I was born in Germany and lived there for the majority part of my life. So I have been into photography since I was a kid, through my mum, because she was a photographer's assistant. So I've basically grown up with film photography, but I'm actually into digital photography, and I kind of do a bit of everything right now.
Can I just say that, I love your mum. She's awesome. I hope she's watching this. If Nessa's mum's watching this, then we love you.
Big shout out to her.
This will be a guest someday, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sorted. So I'm Holly, and I'm 18, and I do portrait photography, family photography, and I'm also getting into fashion photography at the moment.
I'm Mirette. I'm 23 years old. I live in Egypt. Actually, I'm into portrait and fashion photography, experimenting in every type of photography.
You're probably wondering how the three of us actually met. So I'm sure a lot of you photographers have heard of Jessica Kobeissi. She's one of those people that most photographers know, and she's pretty awesome as well. Literally 2 months ago now, she held a webinar with Sacality, and so we all joined that group and we all watched the webinar together. And then in the webinar, we had a little chat bar, and somebody made a WhatsApp chat for us all to connect, meet each other. So we all ended up joining that chat, and since then we've pretty much just become best friends.
So let me guys tell you a story about my experience with this chat. Actually, because of the time zones and stuff, it was 12 p.m. there and it's 10 p.m. here. So I was like, oh, okay, I can make it. I mean, before I sleep, I can watch it. And then I checked the email and they said it's going to be in 2 hours. I checked it at 10 p.m. So I thought it was going to be at 12 a.m. So then I said, okay, whatever, I'll just sleep. And then I checked it later and I said, I'm going to join it. And then they were like, okay, guys, thank you for joining us. And I was like, what? No.
So you missed the entire thing.
That was such a disappointment for me. But hey, I watched it again later. So yeah.
It's actually a miracle that you managed to find the chat right at the end.
Yeah.
How did you actually join the chat then?
I don't know. I found a link and then I said, okay, why not? And then I clicked and suddenly I'm in a group. So yeah, why not? And there was a lot of messages. It was horrible at that time.
Yeah. When that group was first created, I would literally wake up to 2,000 messages, and it was crazy. And I'm one of those people that has to read through everything and make sure I'm caught up. So I would literally spend 20 minutes every morning just reading through 2,000 messages. It was crazy.
Yeah, when I was on the group chat, I was like, somebody is trying to get me to click on this link so I get a virus on my computer. No, thank you. I'm not clicking on this. But then I don't know, I just clicked it anyway because what else is there to do?
For clarification, there is 250 people in this group chat that was talking all at once, which is why there was so many messages.
But what's so great about it is because there's literally people from all over the world that joined it, which is really what inspired this podcast. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Jeff. Without you, this would have not been possible. And it's actually crazy every single day to see the most amazing shots in all different locations. You're constantly inspired by different styles of photography. Everyone has their own unique niche and stuff, which is kind of ironic because the workshop was how to find your style, and it's obviously something that photographers are constantly working on, and it can change, and that's something that Jessica obviously said. But it's just so nice to be in a community of creators that are kind of going through the same thing. So that's probably why we'll connect so well.
I think also because there's so many of us, like there's so many different types of creators and so many different types of photography to learn about. So even if you're not into one type of photography, there's like loads of people that you can ask about the subject and get into it. And there's so, like, if you have a question, there's literally 250 people to ask, and I think that is a great luxury to have.
This is why we're making this podcast, because we want to kind of create a hub where we can invite all different types of creators on here to just like have a chat about like what's difficult, what's great, like how can anybody else get into being a creator in like whatever different category it may be, because obviously there's literally an endless amount, and it can be really overwhelming when you first get into it, when you're like by yourself and you're looking into it. So you know, like Holly said, it's just really good to have like a community there to like check in with and stuff. But we literally talk every day. We've been talking every single day since this webinar. I love it.
The amount of support we guys get from the group is like so huge and amazing, and people are really great and loving and caring. I mean, I think we're so thankful for it. So yeah, big shout out to the group.
I think also being a photographer, it is really hard to find friends that are similarly interested in it. And I think that group chat for a lot of people has really helped people come out of their shell, be more confident with their photography. And all in all, I think just making friends and having people to talk to when they need to.
Yeah, which is exactly why we wanted to take essentially the group chat and put it on a different platform into a podcast. You know, they can be like topics that we sometimes talk about, like imposter syndrome is a really big one, really up there, and bring the conversation to you guys at home.
So story time about the second group chat. Basically, Jessica, she posted like a little question sticker on her Instagram page for a YouTube video that she was doing. So a load of us in the chat had the idea that we should like let her know about us, because we.
How could you forget?
Oh, it was Mirette. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. So Mirette, Mirette had the idea of coming up with like telling her about us in the question sticker. So a load of us like commented in that and was like yo, like we have a group chat, there's loads of us in it and we're inspired by you and it was created because of you, and we think that's pretty cool. And I really wasn't expecting her to really like see it at all or comment on it even. So she reposted it, and a lot of people started DMing Jessica and being like, hey, like, can I join this group chat? So she obviously didn't have the invite link for anything or know anything about it. So she ended up posting another story and tagging me in it and being like, everyone who wants to join, message Holly.
Yay, Jessica knows about us, guys, and knows about this podcast, actually. We're so happy for that. We're being recognized by an amazing photographer.
So as you can imagine, Jessica, who has like 550,000 followers, I ended up getting over 300 DMs over the course of one weekend, and I think I spent about 8 hours just consistently replying to these DMs. And yeah, even the new group chat is now full. There's highs and lows of being a creator or a photographer, and a lot of the time people like to share like their issues that they have with being a photographer and feel less alone about it and get other people's viewpoints from it. So we really wanted to make the podcast so that we could discuss these issues and try and give advice and help out other people.
We're here and we're like really good friends and we're making a podcast. That's actually insane.
Outside the podcast, we're really close friends.
Yeah, like definitely.
I actually really struggled. I like beforehand, and I was constantly going into webinars because I was like, oh, okay, you know, it's Corona and we're on lockdown. I've got all the time in the world to perfect my skill and stuff, but it can just get like super overwhelming with the amount of information that's online. And I think it's probably best to like get advice or like people's input through actually someone who has experienced it and who has gone through it, rather than just reading a guide online and they probably like have some link in it to just make some money and it's just some information. Like you actually need like proper life advice, which is really valuable, and it's definitely what we want to bring to you.
I think it's really lovely how like every single day you hear other people's experiences with being a creator, and also I love the fact how every morning I wake up to like over like 10-20 images of people's photographs that they've taken. I think it just brightens up my day every morning.
Actually, we're going to have like themes for every episode, and you guys will be involved in it. We're not only gonna talk about photography, we're gonna talk about any type of art.
Yeah, I think that's worth noting that the three of us mainly do photography, but this podcast is open to all kinds of creatives, so like digital art, well, anything really, like whatever you can think of.
We'd really love to connect with you and for you to join in with the challenges to grow the community even bigger and connect even more people across the world, because this is absolutely like beautiful and incredible. And being a creator can be really lonely sometimes, especially now. That's how we basically created this podcast and came up with the idea, and that's who we are. We'd love to know who you are.
Head over to our latest Instagram post and you can leave a comment, introduce yourself, say where you're from, how old you are, what type of photography you're interested in, and hopefully you can maybe make some friends in the comments.
I'm actually so thankful for each and every single member in the group, and the amount of love and support we give and receive to each other is really enormous, especially in those times.
So that's basically how we all met, how we all got together, and how we got about to start on a podcast. After knowing each other for freaking 2 months and spending 4 or 5 hours on this whole entire setup, because who knew it would be so difficult to start a podcast?
So with the podcast being released every 2 weeks, each podcast episode is going to have a particular theme that we talk about. For example, maybe video or film, or maybe even like models, like, and how they get involved with creators. We want to get you guys involved. So over on our Instagram, before we record each episode, we're going to make it interactive and post a theme on Instagram, and you guys can use hashtag the Global Creators Podcast and either tag us in your stories or DM us your posts, or just post it with the hashtag, and we hope to feature some of your work at the start of our videos. That's all, guys, for this episode. If you like what we do and love our content, then make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. And if you head over to our latest Instagram post, leave a like, and in the comments, introduce yourselves and make some friends.
Okay, this was fun, guys. See you in 2 weeks' time for episode 2.
We would just like to give a special shout out to Nina, who did the artwork for the podcast. A special birthday shout out to Miha, Amal, and Mandav, who all have upcoming birthdays. They are our friends from the creator group, and they were all really talented. We will link their Instagrams in the description, and if you like their work or want to wish them happy birthday, go check them out.